I often talk to people who tell me things like their life just seems out of control and there's nothing they can do to change it, or their situation is so messy that there's nothing they can do to change it. And maybe you felt like that. Maybe you felt like there's some things in your life that just can't be changed and you want to change them, but you can't. And so when you think about those things in life that you are struggling with or you're frustrated with because they just don't seem to be changing, one of the things you have to do is just accept the fact that you can't change many things in your life. It's just one of the hard truths of being human. You can't change your past. You can't change the way you were treated. You can't change the way you were raised. You can't change a lot of things around you. You certainly can't change the people around you. There are just so many things in your life that you are powerless to change. And when you try to change them, you make yourself miserable and the people around you miserable. And then they want to change you. So there are some things in your life that you're going to have to recognize you just can't change. You're just going to have to accept them for what they are and figure out how to process and deal with them on a daily basis. But there is one thing you can change that really does change everything. There was a man in the Bible. He wrote a book. He was a prophet. His name was Jeremiah. And Jeremiah lived in a very difficult time. You talk about a time when his life and the life of the people that he loved was just totally out of control. It seemed to Jeremiah like the end of the world was upon him, and there was nothing he could do to stop it or to change it or to change the lives of the people that he loved. He just had to sit there in frustration and in sorrow and accept that most of the things in his life he could not change, but he did figure out the one thing he could change. In his book that he wrote, Lamentations chapter 3, verse 40, he says, "Let us examine our ways and turn back to the Lord." The one thing you can change in your situation is you. The one thing you can change in your life is you. The one thing you can change in your messy struggle, your difficult situation, whatever your issue is, the one thing you have power to change is you. Jeremiah says there's so much out of my control, but I can look inside, I can examine myself, I can do a gut level check myself and see where I have walked and wandered away from God and turn back. That changes you. The great thing about examining yourself and turning back to God is it changes the way you think, it changes the way you believe, it changes the way you interact with people, it changes the way you doubt or don't doubt. It changes so many things when you examine yourself and find those areas that aren't lined up with God's word, or find those areas where you have doubted God, or find those areas where you have drifted away from God, and then return back to God. It changes everything about you, which changes your situation because now you're different. You're thinking different. You have a different attitude. You have a different set of tools in your tool belt. You are changed when you turn back to God, which makes everyone around you, everything around you, every situation around you have to adjust to you because now you're different. So if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like it's out of control, it's a mess, you've tried to change it, but you can't, and you're frustrated, I want to suggest you look at the life of Jeremiah and examine yourself. See the areas in you that need to be changed, and then change them. Allow God to change them, and it changes everything. One of the great things it'll give you is a change of perspective. You'll see the world and your problem and the situation and all the things around you. You'll see them with a different perspective, and that perspective can change everything. Let us examine our ways and return to the Lord. This is how you change the one thing in your life you have power to change. See you.